Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning to you. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media world. It is Tuesday, March 21st, 2023. We're coming to you live from Chicago today, home of the Chicago studio of the DYOR Media Network. And today we're trying out something a little new. We are live in two different places today. Well, actually, three different places today. We are live in LinkedIn, and we are live on YouTube, and as usual, we're live on our YouTube or our Roku and our Amazon Fire channel. And I'm telling you all of this because you're watching it wherever you're watching it, but in the other places, hopefully when you're telling friends and family about what you watched this morning today, and you'll say, hey, it's also available on Roku. So I'm not sure that it's streaming on LinkedIn. Let's give it a shot and check it out to see if it is here. LinkedIn, they keep changing the rules on streaming, and since I don't do it that often, when I come back to it, something's changed. And yes, it's working. Well, isn't that special? I'm going to try and monitor the comments on that. Let's put out a good welcome to everybody. We have a good show for you today. Kind of the usual topics for the past week. We're going to be talking about what's going on in Bitcoin. I haven't spent a lot of time in my show over the past, year and a half or so talking about Bitcoin, as so many other products have developed and come out. But old friends come back to roost. And Bitcoin has become more prominent again, simply because of the banking crisis. Bitcoin has been a little bit in the dumps lately, past couple of about the past year or so after it came off its highs, and now we're seeing a pretty good pump and some more money coming back into Bitcoin, which is helping the market in general. And also after that, we're going to talk about the Federal Reserve, our fractional banking system, and how that is interacting with Bitcoin. And why we have that. There's a lot of new information out nowadays on the internet about the Fed and what it does. Even in the past 2 weeks, I've learned a lot, even though I don't claim to be an expert on how the Fed works whatsoever, but I thought I understood it. I did not understand it. I did not properly understand it. I knew simple things that we learned in economics class 40 years ago, 30 years ago, or whatever. And there's a whole bunch of new things going on with it. New policies, new ways for banks to borrow money and all that. But like I said, and we'll have a bunch of other random topics about crypto and the DYOR project after that. So let's get started. I just love it. Every morning I say the same thing. The little ditties I put together for these shows. When you're a one-man crew, you do everything, including putting the music and the ditties together for the opening segments, in the closing segments, and pretty much everywhere in between. And just those little things, hearing that music gets you psyched up to bring some good information to everybody out here this morning. Let me say welcome everybody on YouTube, of which there are very few. Welcome everyone. like to go live for this and get it done in the morning so people can watch throughout the entire day. Let's see if we can drum up some viewers. Actually, I do have a Telegram open, the Striking's Crypto Smackdown. In the latter half of the show, we tend to take questions from the audience, chat with people in the morning. So if you make your way over to my Telegram room, if you know how to find Striking's Crypto Smackdown and join it and pass the CAPTCHA, then you too can talk and have fun in this. Now, where is that? Excuse me while I put a few shortcuts around for people. All right, let's see if anyone comes out for that. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have Bitcoin once again crawling up the market here. We're trading at about a little over 28,000 at 28,100. Yesterday, I talked a little bit about the political end of this in Canada and the U.S. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that today because it's important as a result of the mess over the past few weeks. I should say the past couple of months, since really FTX fell. There's been an increased push for new regulation in the crypto and digital asset markets to the point where there are people literally in the U.S. government and the Canadian government holding hearings with witnesses saying there is no good reason for any sort of digital asset in the world. They're all used for drug dealers and terrorists, and everybody else is just a fool using it and sending your money to the certain regimes of the world that use this and Tornado Cash to hide taking money. And for most of the people that watch this show, we all know that's patently untrue and is basically lying to Congress and lying to Parliament in Canada. And it's kind of a strong statement, I say, but we all know there are things with utility. People have beat up on Bitcoin for a long time, and about it's just this Ponzi scheme and this thing that doesn't help anyone. It's not a store of value. It's not a hedge against inflation. It's just people playing with money, and unfortunately, the smart people or in the know people take all the money from the little people. And it turns out that's not what's going on with Bitcoin at all. Sure, some people have lost their money in it because they were not smart investors, but a lot of people have lost their money in Tesla over the past year when Tesla was at trading near 1,000, and then it backed off to 200 or something. We didn't hear regulators and politicians on the air saying, hey, the great electric vehicle industry, if you invested in it, you would have lost 80% of your money. Now, obviously, Tesla's stock has come back, but so has Bitcoin. In the past couple of weeks when the markets have been down and most major investments are producing negative returns, Bitcoin is up about 50%, I think. Yeah, its low was 16,000 and something change, and now it's 28,000 and change. So it's not exactly 50%, it's more like 45%. But you get my point. You know what? I forgot to open the comments here. Let's do that. Kurt, welcome. Kurt says we're just going to go tangent. Bought some audit chain on Uniswap. Any other suggestions? Liquidity seems to be low there, and I got charged way more than I should have in order to buy some. Kurt, yeah, thanks for paying attention. While audit chain sponsors my show, and I talk to Jason there a lot, I'm not flush with the intricacies of how their token works. I've been concentrating on how the Luca and Pacioli nodes work, but I do know what people have told me. And they told me the Uniswap Actually, it's not Uniswap. It's a QuickSwap or something like that. Go to the Telegram. The Uniswap contract is not the one you want. I think it's a QuickSwap one that you want. And really, most of the trading is done on Bitmart. The token was set up on Bitmart first, and that's where most of the liquidity is. And the Polygon contract that is on QuickSwap is the one where it is. And it's a very low liquidity contract also. It's also one that, and apparently I was told it is that way for a reason until the project launches. Let me see if I can pull up the instructions for you and get a link for it. Kurt, if you're still listening, let me know if you have access to the Audit Chain Telegram. And if you do, I'll send you a link. If not, I'll paste the whole kit and caboodle here. Let's see. Let's get it. Let's see if I can find this in the... sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Trying to help someone out with the... Kurt, sorry, I can't find it. But it is definitely... well, let me pull it up here. QuickSwap. Yeah, it's traded on QuickSwap. Anyway, Kurt, if you're still listening, come back to me with questions in the second half of our show, and I'll be glad to answer them. I'm sorry, everyone. Let me grab this. Grab this comments link here. Put it in my system. These are the things that when you have an afternoon or an evening show are set up way in advance. And when they're set up now, oh, hey, look at that, it works. Or when I do it in the morning, hey, there it is. It shows up, the comments show up. So everyone, if you've got a comment, let me know, and I will put it on the screen. All right, I got sidetracked about my Bitcoin diatribe. In both the U.S. government and Canadian government, to summarize, I was talking about the hearings politicians are holding to set regulation and how it's apparent that they don't understand crypto at all, or digital assets at all. Most of them, I should say, the elderly folks in it. The younger caucus, especially the Republican caucus in the U.S. government, and the younger members of both the Conservative and Liberal Party in the Canadian government understand digital assets and how they work, but not the older folks. So a couple of senators and House of Representatives have hearings, and they bring in favored witnesses. And so when you watch a hearing on Capitol Hill about any sort of controversial subject, what you're watching is a made-for-TV event. And the witnesses are predefined, and they know what they're going to say, and they tell a story there in a hearing. And we see a bunch of them now calling for regulation and how it's the Wild West and how everyone is losing their money, and how crypto is just financing. There's no real use for it. It's Ponzi schemes, and it's just financing terrorism. Yet we have things like the Lightning Network now on Bitcoin, in which you can pay anyone. You thought DeFi was fast in paying someone. Now you can pay with Satoshis. Those are the little small parts of Bitcoin in seconds. I think seconds is too fast. You can, like, for instance, for those people now using Nostr instead of Twitter, you can pay and tip people for their work, their articles they post and all that. Instead of having paywalled news things, you can just pay what you want for it. And it happens in seconds, where you say, hey, I'll do that graphic arts program for you. I'll do that video work for you. You know, give me the equivalent of $100 US in Satoshis, and boom, it's paid instantly. And there's no fee. And how they do this, I don't understand how there's no fee. But anyway, I digress. There are lots of utilities, and to the point now where there are lending utilities. And for those of you that are in crypto and digital assets and happen to be watching this, if you have crypto of any kind, you can convert that into many different stable coins or the larger cryptos and borrow cash against it. You can say, here's my Bitcoin or here's my Ethereum, and they'll lend a certain percentage of that back to you in US peg dollar stablecoin, and you can take that to an exchange and take it out. You still have your Bitcoin and your original stuff, just like taking your car title to the bank or your deed to your house to the bank and saying, hey, my car's worth $20,000. I need a $10,000 loan to send my kid to college this semester. And in the bank, they'll put you through a few weeks of applications and all that type of stuff. And a lot of paperwork and a lot of questions like why you need this money and who's it going to and all these types of questions. Whereas with Bitcoin and a lot of cryptos now, on centralized systems and also on decentralized systems now, you can get a loan on those assets in the length of a block on a blockchain, and that is revolutionary. And when the ability to do that filters down to the micropayments level, so people can do that for work and make it easy to use the assets of their company to pay their bills, just like they use a credit line with the bank. Then we have a sea change in how business is done, because businesses and people like me like to eliminate complexity. And if you can eliminate complexity in establishing a line of credit, or just at least accessing and being able to use the assets you have in business and in your personal life for other than just sitting around doing nothing, that's revolutionary. And I want to be clear that the lending things on that have to do with Bitcoin and the web and the DeFi, they're not giving you credit. Nobody's getting credit from that. Like, you go to the bank and they'll give you very small unsecured loans, like a credit card. A credit card is an unsecured loan. That's not going on the internet right now. What DeFi and what Bitcoin and what all these other cryptos are allowing, and the services that provide these loan services, they're providing a loans against value. And they're basically able to unlock all that stored value that people have sitting in their digital wallets. You know, if you're one of the lucky people that had a couple of thousand Bitcoins, and when it went from $100 to $60,000, and you want to keep it, that stuff doesn't do you any good sitting in a wallet. I mean, it's appreciating at an unbelievable value, or it was, and it is again. It's appreciating, but it's not. You're not using your money effectively. It's like if you had a whole bunch of cash in the bank and just sitting there. Now, you don't leave it in the bank and you move it to a money market fund, or you invest it or something like that. And so that's what these loan services have turned out to do. They allow all those people that have a lot of crypto that have value. They don't want to sell it because they'll incur taxes for it. So they take out a loan against it, and you don't have to go to a bank. You don't have to go and fill out forms and talk to a banker and pay exorbitant fees. You go to Curve, or you go to Voyager. Well, not Voyager. You go to Celsius. Oh, no, not Celsius. No, but there's a lot of places out there that'll do it. And you can get a loan against your assets relatively quickly. I mean, not relatively quickly. I mean, very quickly. So that's one of the issues that's changing, and that our politicians in Washington, D.C. and the U.S. or in Canada don't understand that. They just don't understand that, but the banks do. and they're trying to put the brakes on crypto. And that whole diatribe is for another day. But right now we're talking about how Bitcoin is pumping and why it's doing that. And the reason is the YouTube, there's a million streamers and why things are going on. Even one of my favorite ones that I watch regularly, who's very good at calling the markets and all that, has some whacked out reasons in his head why certain things happen. It's like conspiracy theories from hell, but he's very good at calling the markets. And then another one, as you know, I talk about Crypto Lifer a lot on here because I've had him on my show. He has his technical analysis show, and then he also puts out other videos on why things are happening and links the movements in the market to the Fed and things like that. So there are all types of reasons being talked about on the internet, including me. I'll include me in that. But the basic reason why Bitcoin is now going up, when you boil everything down to it, is that there's been trouble in the banking markets. There's trouble with the U.S. economy. Not a lot of trouble, but just enough because it's very well balanced. And when that happens, people want to feel safe with their money. And there's a big contingent of people that understand how Bitcoin works, and they called up their great little wallet on their phone here and said, you know what, I'm going to move some of my money into Bitcoin. And that happened to the tune of about $300 billion over the past couple of weeks, I think the market cap. Let's just see if we can look at that. Bitcoin market cap. I got to tell you, for those of you that don't use the Brave browser, you should. It's so much better than everything else. All right, the Bitcoin market cap here is $545 billion now, right over my shoulder here. And so, actually, it only went up. It went up about 200 billion in the past 4 weeks. And that is because people like you and me, along with large institutional investors, put $200 billion into Bitcoin. That means for every dollar that sold, another $2 went in for the price of it to double. And I don't think that ratio is right, but you get my point. And so that's a lot of money. People have spoken about how much the Fed has launched from their discount window. That's the method that banks have available to them to borrow money from the Fed at extremely low interest rates in order to provide liquidity to their bank. I believe Anton from LinkedIn posted a graph that showed it was at 152 billion. Something like that. It's some outrageous number that banks have bought just to maintain their liquidity so they could pay people their cash. Now, let's look at what the money that's gone into Bitcoin is. 200 billion. Now, let me just point that out here. Let me get back to where I can see myself here. Over this shoulder here is Bitcoin. And then below that is Ethereum. Then Tether, BNB, USD coin. All of those, well, not the USD coin, it's a stable coin, but Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Cardano, Polygon, even the mighty Dogecoin, and Solana, their prices have pumped up as well in this mini bull market, bull trap, whatever you want to call it. And so the total value of the total crypto market cap isn't just that 200 billion that went into Bitcoin. No. It's like $500 billion because the total market cap went from 700 to 800 billion in crypto to 1.2, 1.3 trillion. Something like that. I don't have the numbers exactly right, but it's a lot. And that's a lot of money to move out of the U.S. banking system and Canadian banking system and European banking system. Pretty much the entire country. Personal spending money for a couple other countries. who are having currency problems, and moved into crypto. Now, what happens with that money when it goes into crypto and Bitcoin? First of all, it inflates the price. The price goes up for that, right? Which is good. Everyone likes the price going up. Everyone loves the price going up for these things. But what else does it do? Nothing. And generally, the money that gets invested in crypto, for most of us, it just sits there and people watch their investment like a stock. However, most of it is cash that was taken out of the traditional banking system. Now, obviously, they're in Bitcoin, in the old Ethereum and other proof of work digital assets. People mine things, and then the digital assets exist on their own, independent of real life. Hold on. And the idea is that money is locked in crypto, and it takes it out of the system. And when it takes it out of the system, what does it do? It acts as a hedge against inflation, meaning that, let me rephrase, not a hedge against inflation. It tampers inflation down, because with that money coming out and not being available to spend, it shrinks the usable money supply for people to buy things with, and essentially acts like a brake on the economy, which right now is a good thing. Right now is a very good thing, because that's kind of a free way to get the inflation rate under control. However, now with new utilities coming out allowing people to access the value of that and take out short-term loans against it, well, we have a different situation, and people can use the store of value in their crypto holdings for buying things, buying a boat, buying a car, doing whatever they want with it. And that, as those utilities come up and frankly just get more well-known, then people will be able to buy things with it, and also the money will go back into circulation. All right, I'm going to take a quick break here. I got to refresh my tea, and I'll be right back. I had my break button ready to go ahead of time when I prepared for this show last night, but didn't do it. Be right back. That's it. That's all the break you're allowed here in the great interwebs. I'm going to bring the background music back on a little bit here. So what I was talking about before I had that mini unscheduled break. Check my music levels here. Should be better. Was the movement of money from the regular U.S. banking and world banking system into crypto kind of takes that amount of money out of the system. And right now, it seems to me that to my non-scholarly mind, that I should say non-Federal Reserve and economic scholarly mind, is that amount of money is larger than what the banks have taken from the U.S. government to bail it out. And so what that means is that the money that the banks are putting into the market seemingly would just dump on inflation and cause it to catch fire again, But with that money, the equivalent amount of money or more going into crypto and kind of sitting around doing nothing, that'll be a kind of a brace against inflation and dampening effect of that. And so one of the great utilities that this digital assets have provided, that many, as I'm linking this back to the talk about politics, is that they don't understand the big picture. And essentially a brand new product was created out of thin air that acts as a large part of the economy. And they have to deal with it. And people are trying to ban it. Everywhere from ban it, there's one congressman that's like, we just need to ban it because that works so well with, anything else they ban. People want to do it, they do it. And if people can make money doing it, they do it. And of course, banning something that's used worldwide is obviously not practical. And so what we have is in the U.S. and in Canada, we have political parties in charge that are generally anti-digital assets for kind of two main reasons. The first being that they're using it just to beat up their political opponents. And they're getting the news cycle in their favor. Because frankly, a lot of the people in the 24-hour news cycle don't understand crypto either, especially except for Kramer over here. I just hope he calls Bitcoin to crash today because then it'll go up. But like I said, they beat up on crypto for two reasons. One, to beat up on their political opponents. In Canada right now, the Liberal Party has found it convenient to beat up on the Conservative Party because the price of Bitcoin went from $60,000 to $20,000. So they are beating up the head of the Conservative Party greatly, I should say, greatly for that. Sorry, just checking something on YouTube real quick. Beating up the head of the Conservative Party because he talked about it when the price was at $60,000. So the political wonks would say, hey, if Grandma and Grandpa would have invested in Bitcoin, they would have lost their life savings. And I talked about this yesterday. And in the U.S., the great political party that is in charge is beating up crypto in Operation Choke Point in order to basically stick it to the new Republicans, as they say, who have a very strong blockchain caucus. And they definitely don't want them to catch fire and to and kind of be the anti-group for the banking lobby, which is very strong in Washington, D.C. And the second reason why political parties are beating up on digital assets and crypto is because they have this overwhelming need as government officials to control things. And the digital asset world has shown how much they don't have control on money, the movement of money, and the data that comes behind moving money. When we pay for things in cash, there's no information regarding that. When you pay for things digitally through your bank, through your credit card, there's a wealth of information, and there's a lot of businesses that rely on that information to sell things, to sell products and all that. When there are in crypto, and obviously we all know it generates a lot of information because it's an electronic transfer of value. But there's generally no behind the scenes. I can pay some guy in Croatia for doing some of my video work, and there's no information exchanged about who, what, where, when, and that system never goes into the great database of payments. Thus, the advertising people don't get any part of that. And that's a big problem. And so there's lobbyists beating up the government saying, hey, we can't have this, or we need controls. We need everybody to be KYC'd with a digital ID. Then every dollar you spend will be tracked completely, and people will be able to sell that information. Those are kind of the two main reasons why they're beating up on crypto. The entire thing about people saying that crypto is used for funding terrorism or drug dealing is patently ridiculous. Does it happen? Of course it happens. Does it happen with cash? Yes. Does it happen with wire transfers? Yes. Does it happen with ACH transfers? Yes. Does it in Canada does it happen with Interact? Yes. In the US does it happen with Zelle and PayPal? Yes. It happens with every form of payment method you can think of. And it shouldn't be our lives. Our lives shouldn't be led, and everything we do have to conform to the thought that it might be used for terrorism or drug dealing. Are there really just that many drug dealers all over the world with billions of dollars that are just sitting out there going, oh, I can't wait to find a new way to move my billions and billions of dollars? Every government knows who all the drug dealers are. And every government knows who all the major terrorism groups are in the world. Nothing is a surprise. And so why do they want us to lead our lives around that? Because it makes their job easier. That's why. Groups in law enforcement. Sure, there are plenty of people in those groups that are not right in the head. But there are most of the time when you see new government policy, it's because they want to do their job more easily and more effectively. And what happens when you do your job more easily or more effectively? You get promoted. Right. And so if you're able to solve a investigation with new tools, if you're able to use the technology to your advantage, you can get promoted. And that's how it works in government. And that's why they say, hey, if we could only track, we can track money and transactions like this. And if we can add KYC to this, this, and this, I would have been able to figure out who that mafia guy was a lot faster. And then they say, so the next time it comes around, they push for that, and we have mission creep and all that. That's generally how it happens in those types of situations. And that's why they're beating up on Bitcoin. You know what? I'm not going to be able to get to the topic of the Federal Reserve today and why we have fractional banking. It's a long topic. I've been going on and on about Bitcoin. I'm going to be leading into Crypto Lifer here today. For those of you joining me on YouTube, Roku, Amazon Fire, and in my Telegram room, thank you for watching. We've got about 15 minutes left. I'm going to look around for some comments here for a minute. I can always go on and talk too long about how the government is overreaching in their mission creep. I'm not one of those anti-government type things at all. I'm very pro, have a good government that puts a fair playing field for everybody. But they're not doing it with Bitcoin or with digital assets right now. It's simply because they don't understand it. They don't understand it one bit. All right, let's see what we got here. Like I said, I'm live in. Thank you to the 4 viewers in Striking's Crypto Smackdown, my Telegram room. Once again, if you are understand how Telegram works, you can find Striking's Crypto Smackdown. I don't put the link to that anymore in my comments because the bots join it. And every once in a while you get one that beats your CAPTCHA and it drives you crazy. So I rely on your intuition and your skills to find me at Striking's Crypto Smackdown. And then, of course, I'm on LinkedIn today as well. And we've had a couple of viewers there. But the goal with LinkedIn is you put up good content and people watch it all over the world at weird times. And I find I get a lot of people watching from Asia. So for those of you that are going to bed in Asia right now, have a good time watching this from bed, or when you wake up and you're driving to work or on the train or in the subway. But if you've got a friend, today's topics were mostly about Bitcoin and why and what's going on with it. So if you have a friend that doesn't understand it, just forward a link to them about this. Let's see, what do we got here? Good morning, I'm live, yada, yada, yada. Thank you for your comment, Lauren. I appreciate it. John, thank you. Thank you for following me. I appreciate it very much. Let's see. I don't know how to pronounce your name properly. I'm not even going to try. But you're a CPA. I guess you found me through the audit chain. I guess this is a good time for me to, as usual, to talk about audit chain. My show is sponsored by Audit Chain. And Audit Chain, like I was telling you earlier about Bitcoin and there being proper utilities, Audit Chain here. There's their logo. Audit Chain. Oh, I have my. See, I don't have my virtual set up correctly. What Audit Chain does is they have the ability to look into corporate filings and determine if they're correct, if their information is calculated correctly, if all companies have filed all the disclosures they need to do, things that would have taken a human being or a fleet of humans ages to do, can now be done in seconds. For example, if you're a VC, we'll just use BlackRock as an example because they're a big one, or Citadel, or Tom Striking's Capital Partners Inc., something like that, and you have a bunch of companies in your hedge fund or in your VC world that have to report filings. They have to file 10Qs in the U.S. or 20 Fs or whatever it is in Switzerland, and they have to file publicly. All of those public filings now have a standard based on a standard business machine-readable language that, and we'll go into, that's not a topic for this show. But what that allows is it allows for software to be written to read all of that. And if you're a VC, instead of paying people fleets of money to continuously go over those, you can pay one person to press a button, and then your whole list of companies that you watch, it goes through all their financials. Like the day after, once a quarter or once however you want, and say you have 100 companies in your list that you watch that are all publicly reporting companies, whether you have an investment in them, a private placement, or whatever the reason is, if you just want to watch them. And within seconds, you can get a lot of information back on what's wrong with those companies. And it gives you this report. This is a report from Audit Chain, and it gives you everything that's green, that's good, and everything that's wrong. And while you can't read this, it links to the reason why it's wrong with, I'll just use in the United States, the US GAAP, the generally accepted accounting principles, or whatever, and Jason, I hope I get the word right, whatever taxonomy is being used, Audit Chain is programmed to read that, understand it, and give a result. And as you can see here, there's a bunch of problems with this one. This one's one of the banks. I think it's Silicon Valley Bank's report. And they had a lot of issues that came up where accounting rules weren't being followed. And that generally means that the CFO or the auditors missed something or had an agreement in place that wink, wink, nod, nod, not to look at that. But Audit Chain, you can't hide anything from Petroli. And this is, frankly, I mean, think of what having this information, if you're just an institutional short seller and just knowing faster than anybody else how quickly, if you just know in short selling and most of the trading markets, speed of information is the best. This gives you more information than you could possibly think about public companies or private companies that have to report in seconds. And soon, U.S. companies, or U.S. governments, jurisdictions, all 80,000 of them, are going to have to report. Every U.S. municipality that issues government bonds has to do electronic reporting just like this. And so you will be able to watch the municipal bond market at an unbelievable level. You'll know very quickly which cities are getting closer and closer to defaulting, which ones are going to likely be getting a bond rating change. There's all kinds of information you can know. Not only that, this is not just a rating software. What this is it you use the other end of it. You use the Luca side of the software. It's your own company, and it tunes up your books to make sure that you report correctly, and that when your report comes out, it's all green. So you follow the rules. Green is good. In money and accounting, green is good. Red is bad. There's a Simpsons episode when the Homer Simpson is trying to borrow a ton of money to buy the ultimate behemoth, of the RV. I think it's the first season or second season of The Simpsons. The ultimate behemoth doesn't have satellite TV, it comes with its own satellite, if you remember that episode. Anyway, when he goes to apply for credit to buy this huge machine, that sirens in the salesman's office, finance manager's office go off, and the lights go on. And Homer says, "Is that bad?" And the salesman merely says, Homer, have you ever known lights and sirens to mean anything good? Homer's like, no. Same with Silicon Valley here. Have you ever known anything red in accounting and money to mean anything good? No, no, no. We don't. All right, let's see here. I just need to prepare real quickly to see if Lifer has started his feed yet, so I can raid him. Like I say about technical analysis, Crypto Lifer does a great job. His name's Sam Price. I've had him on my show. Crypto Lifer. He is not up and live yet. There he is. Had him on my show. He does the technical analysis, goes over BTC, goes over Ethereum, goes over whatever you want, and also is an educator. He does technical analysis for a couple hours a day, goes over more projects than I've ever seen anyone go over. And he also does trading. He does, first of all, does the trading with you. He does education. He'll mentor you, and he'll help you with your investments if you join his Discord group. And he does a great job, and his viewership has grown a lot in a way that I wish mine would. A way that I wish mine would. Let's see. So let's get the shareable link here. YouTube has a new feature to be able to do this and send your when you close up shop to send people over to a new feed. We'll see if we can see if that works. Search some other channels. And I don't have it set up right, so I will just manually kick people over there. See, YouTube changes it every time I try. Modify your search to find other content. Ask Crypto Lifer to add you in their live redirect list in the community settings. Well, let's do that. Let's do that. Carmen Crypto. Good morning, Carmen Crypto. Carmen, I'm doing an 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. show Central Time here today, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Time. But Pacific Time, where you are, it's a lot earlier, 6 a.m. I'll be doing this show Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday morning if you want to join me to talk about anything. Anyway, Carmen and I, this is a good time to talk about it. Carmen and I have a AMA later today in the Space Lounge, which will be broadcast on my channel here at DYOR Media Network. It'll also be in the Space Lounge Telegram room with Meme Kong. Meme Kong is a Ethereum-based token that has all sorts of things going on with it, not just in the crypto world, but they are using the marketing efforts of all of their knowledge and companies and all of that in the racing, automotive racing world, and in a couple other industries to tie crypto to the real world. And they got a lot of new things going on. They're going to be on at 12 Central, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Right here in the Space Lounge. See, that's why I got this little logo here, Space Lounge. Not a lot going on in the Space Lounge. Used to be a lot of AMAs for reputable companies. Now most of the AMAs are just yo wannabes and scammer guys. And so because we require people to come on TV, they say, we're not coming on. They say, that's how we know you are a scammer. All right, let me go find, see if I can get this Crypto Lifer thing sorted out. Oh, if any of you are coming over from the Crypto Lifer show, because I'm posting in his chat, my show is 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time here is an hour before Crypto Lifer and leading into his show. I thought I had it set up so I could basically raid his channel on the YouTuber, but it's not going to happen. Anyway, for those of you on LinkedIn, thank you for watching. I'm going to turn off the LinkedIn feed now, and I really appreciate the time that those of you have spent watching from LinkedIn. We're going to be doing more on LinkedIn, especially with Audit Chain. We have a AMA Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time with Jason Myers and Yoli Chisholm of Audit Chain. So make sure you're there for that. They're going to go over how the Petroli system works and how these reports behind me were generated and how you can use it to your advantage. So thank everybody from LinkedIn. Thank you very much for joining me. And I'm just going to be on YouTube and Roku now. So if you're going to be wanting to keep watching, come on over. All right. So where was I with... trying to get the... All right, so everyone, I'm just trying to get that set up. Really, the show has come to an end here today. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it a lot. We're talked at length again about Bitcoin. I didn't hit the news or the. I'm gonna have to learn to reel myself in here. There's just been a lot to talk about in Bitcoin because it's the stalwart of the industry. Anyway, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I encourage you to go over to... where am I going? That was interesting. Anyway, for those of you watching on YouTube, I really appreciate it. The time for our show has come to an end here today, and I am off. Have a good one. See you tomorrow.